Thank you for tuning in to The Last Video Store, the podcast where I, Alexei, talk to interesting, cool and exciting and often very funny people about some of their favorite movies. Today is our special 1-year anniversary of the show, so we're doing something only a little bit different. We've got our first guest, my dearest buddy Cameron James, returning to pick up some of his favorite movies in the style of an old school video store rental combo. So let's celebrate and get into it, dude.
The Last Video Store.
Well, look who has wandered through the swinging doors of The Last Video Store. My dearest and truest bud, Mr. Cameron James.
I'm back. I'm not black.
Wow, he's finally admitted it. After years and years of ambiguously playing up his race, he's finally admitted it.
I'm going to say it here on the record for the first time. I don't think I've ever addressed this, but I am 100% Scottish.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've often
Racially.
toyed that you were Irish at times.
Actually, it might be more like 98, 99% Scottish.
Yeah.
There's probably a little bit of Mick in there,
A
which
little
is why I
tinge
can
of
say
it.
that.
That's why I can say it. The 1% is on the tongue that allows you to spit it out.
I'm allowed to say Mick. I'm allowed to call someone an Irish bug.
Okay, wow.
I'm allowed to say Irish twins.
Oh, and you pursed your lips as you said it.
And I'm allowed to Irish up my coffee in the morning.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I believe that the way that Irish heritage works is while you're watching The Departed, the percentage gets a little bit higher.
does,
It
yeah.
sways, it fluctuates.
It does. Yes, it
Well,
does.
Cameron, you're returning here, and not just for any reason. 2 reasons, in fact. One, it is the anniversary of this podcast. We've been doing it for a year. We want to get you back in. You're our first customer, customer zero.
Yes.
So you're going to pick up any kind of moves that you want, but also you've got a new special out right now.
I do. Well, can I ask what date it is today?
The date it is today, sometime in March, I think. Early March.
Because the date of the special is the 7th of March.
It will be
So-
just after.
Can we? And we
Allow
should
me
know.
to-
We should know because there's calendars everywhere.
There's
and
calendars
stuff.
everywhere. Yeah, of course.
We
We've
should
got
know.
the calendar section of the
Yeah,
video
yeah,
store,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
where we're
yeah.
hanging out. But to be completely transparent with you,
Yeah.
Tanya Zarek of Grouse House said
Yes.
it would be beneficial for this podcast to come out a week or so after.
Yes.
I don't know if we should have that in the podcast, but it might be in
I
there.
think we can leave it in.
We
It
can leave it
peels
in
back
there.
the curtain a little bit. People can see that there is
Wow.
a whole machine behind us right now. We have stepped up from just recording podcasts in each other's living rooms.
Yep,
and we
yep.
now have entire
media industries
Yeah.
behind us now. But your new special song, Grouse House, the home
is.
of Finding Yeezers. Tell us about the
Finding
special,
Yeezers.
darling.
That's why it's on there, because Finding Yeezers, our very special project that we love so dearly.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
I love working with those guys. I know you love working with
do,
those
it's true.
guys. And I thought, you know what? I'm putting it up there.
Beautiful.
there. And I've told you a little bit about this already, but I missed the Comedy Central half-hour special. Because when we were young,
Yeah.
and we just young bucks with nothing, like only a couple of
Nothing.
coins to scrape
And
together.
a couple of DNA helixes of Irish heritage swirling
Exactly.
around us.
And we'd take those DNA helixes and we'd take those couple of coins and we'd invest in Foxtel.
Yes,
and we would
exactly.
watch Comedy Channel.
Yes.
Where you'd get to see those half-hour specials. I miss them, and they don't exist anymore.
Wow.
And so that's what I put together. I wanted to put together like a half hour of my favorite material from the last couple of years. And I'm really happy about it. Lots of songs, lots
Yes.
of jokes. I think you'll get a kick out of it because
I think you're one of the funniest guys in
you
the
think
world.
I'm in the top 5.
And I think I like half hours.
You like half hours.
It's one of my favorite versions of time.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
half
me
hour.
too, me too. I like 7 minutes in heaven the best.
Wow.
That's my
I feel
favorite
lucky.
unit of time.
I prefer 9.5 minutes in hell.
But one of my favorite comedy specials, and I believe one of yours,
Mm.
is Zach Galifianakis live at the Purple Onion.
Love it, yes.
And that was a massive influence on the thing that I made.
Wow. Okay.
So, I mean, I just ripped it off, basically.
Beautiful.
Like, you can say it's an
Yeah.
influence, or you can say I kind of ripped off the
you
vibe
got a
of it.
piano and you've got a purple onion near you. That's awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It's
Well,
awesome.
that's the new special song, Grouse House. The link is in the
Yes.
show notes. Click straight through. If you're watching this on YouTube, heck, or load it up in the playlist, I guess.
Yeah, load it up, pop it on. or don't.
Don't pop it
But
on.
tell me you have.
Tell him. And at least give the view to you.
Yeah, give me a view.
And laugh. We pray that you're laughing right now. But anyway, Cameron, you've returned to the store. You're going to pick up a new combo of movies. But before
Yes.
you do, you're returning an old film.
I'm returning a film.
And it is a little freaking late.
A little late. I'm sorry about
You're
that.
returning your last staff pick recommendation, which was one false move. But your late fee has to be paid right now.
Turns out I made a false move of my own, and that's showing up late.
Showing up way too late.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay because you will have to pay the price. And the price is we have to do probably a 2-minute mic check segment right now. Our long forgotten podcast about Mike Myers.
Well, very excitingly,
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful institution called Saturday Night Live just celebrated 50 years of broadcast.
Happy 50th, Mr. Lorne and your friends.
I actually did send a message to Lorne, didn't hear anything back.
Oh, of course.
He's busy.
He's really busy. He's got this 50th anniversary that he's been preparing for.
Yeah.
But Mr. Mike Myers makes a triumphant return. So this is breaking Myers news right now. Mike Myers.
Sorry, when you say that, are you saying Breckin Meyer news?
No,
As
no,
in
no.
the actor Breckin Meyer?
No, I'm not talking about Breckin Meyer, the actor who appeared in Robot Chicken.
Yes.
And
He's
Rat
one of the
Race.
creators of it.
One of the creators of
Well,
Robot Chicken.
in Breckin Meyer news, I did actually see a reel on Instagram
Oh,
2
no
days
way.
ago that featured Breckin Meyer.
Oh,
It
what's
was
he up to? What's the Breckin Meyer news? If you want to throw that segment
I'll
as
throw
well.
some Breckin Meyer news in. He appeared in a movie called Josie and the Pussycats in the 2000s, and that's
Wow.
what the clip was from.
Wow, Breckin Meyer news. He was in a movie almost 30
20
years
years
ago.
ago, yeah.
Good on him. And it's a
Yeah.
heck of a movie too.
It's
heck
a good
of a
flick.
movie.
He is one of the boy band members of the boy band Du Jour.
Du jour.
Yes.
And I think he should be on Why Low. White Lotus. Get
Oh
him
my
on
God,
there.
he'd be a perfect White Lotus
Perfect
cast
for it.
member.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we've already had Steve Zahn.
We
The
got
Zahn Renaissance is going off.
and we got the Parker Posey in
We got
right
Parker
now.
Posey. Let's get Breckin Meyer in there. Let's get Alicia Silverstone
Oh.
in White Lotus 4.
Wow. We're starting it
Is that
today.
a huge
That's huge.
call?
A huge, beautiful call.
That's a good, beautiful call.
That's a good, beautiful call. Well, that is Breckin Meyer news. Now
Yeah.
into Breaking Myers
Yes.
news.
Breaking Myers news.
Okay, Mike Myers appeared on SNL 50 right now. In what sketch? Do you remember?
Yep, it was, well, it started as the Bronx Beat sketch.
Absolutely, it's an elliptical
Or Brooklyn
sketch.
Beat, or whatever they're
Bronx
called.
Beat with Betty and Jody, a sketch starring Amy Poehler and Maya Rudolph as Bronx
Yes.
locals.
And that's a very funny, classic SNL format, fake talk show, almost like a fake public access talk
Yes.
show with
a
these
special
two
of the
local
SNL
weirdos.
special the
Well,
SNL
yeah.
report. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people criticize SNL for largely doing fake talk shows and
Yep.
fake public access shows.
But then you look at it, this SNL 50 could have been like 100 sketches of just that format.
Exactly. They did do a Jeopardy, and I
Wow,
like
okay.
that. But the Bronx Beat sketch then ends up merging into Coffee Talk,
Yeah.
which is an old Linda Richman, Mike Myers sketch.
Myers
Mike Myers
sketch.
plays a character called Linda Richman, who is a
middle-aged,
middle-aged Jewish lady.
who's based on his ex-mother-in-law.
Wow, there you go.
So, and I would say my call out right now, a spectacular performance from Myers.
Oh, of course. I mean, I love Linda Richman, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a surprise to see that character pop up. Do you know why that character popped up?
Why did that character pop up?
Well, Dana and Mike were scheduled to do a Wayne's World.
Oh my gosh.
sketch.
They did a beautiful one at the SNL
They
40.
did one of the 40. It's actually kind of, I think, I missed not having Dana
Yeah.
there, but it's probably for the best that they didn't do another one again because it would have been a bit too repeating
Yes,
history.
exactly.
And then Dana got sick. Dana got the flu, couldn't
Shit.
travel. Mike was forced to do something on the fly. Linda Richman, baby.
That's what came through as
Yeah,
Linda.
I don't think it works. It's funny. I love the character. It's fun to see Mike do that again because it's been a while probably since he's put the wig on.
Probably like 30 years since he's played
Yeah.
that character.
Yeah.
And if anything, I think he's aged into the character more. Like
Totally.
he looked amazing as Linda Richman.
Yeah.
Would you say that this sketch was it like butter or did it make you verklempt?
I got a little verklempt,
Me
but
too.
I got verklempt multiple times through the SNL 50 anniversary special, and I watched all of it.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know right now, I watched the homecoming concert thing, which was like 3 hours long and had a lot of musical guests,
Yeah.
and also had Anna Gasteyer and Will Ferrell did
Yeah.
those two musical characters they do. There was a Lonely Island medley, which was great. I watched all the documentaries.
Wow.
And then I watched the 50th, and then because I'm psychotic,
Wow.
I went back and watched the 40th and the 25th.
Wow. Which one is the top of the crown for you?
See, when I was a kid, the 25th anniversary special was a DVD that I rented a lot
Absolutely.
from the video shop.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of love for that. And it's largely a clip show. It's pretty much just people throwing to packages, which is fun because you just see like a million Chris Kattan and
thank
Sherry
goodness.
O'Terry things. And all
We
that
love
stuff.
them.
Whereas this latest one was pretty much just a long live episode.
Long,
I only had
long
a few
episode.
clip packages in
Yeah.
It was still great, but I have a real soft spot for the 25th.
Wow. I'm a 40 guy.
You like 40?
I love 40.
40's great.
40 is fantastic to me. But I really love this sketch, and it was, you know what, where I got a bit verklempt? Was one of his catchphrases as Linda Richman is he talks about someone developing spilkus in their Genecticazoink. He couldn't say it. He couldn't get it out. To the point where the first time he flubbed it, then the next time he covered it. Where he was like, he started saying it and he goes, oh, and then anyway, and moved on. And it was like, whoa, that is the passage of time. Because
Yeah.
that was something he could spit out no problem whenever.
Yeah.
And then this time, couldn't do it. I go,
He's been
wow.
He's been out of the saddle for a little while.
Well, of that character saddle.
Yeah,
That's,
definitely.
you know, that's a specific character.
I would love to see a Linda Richman movie. There's always talk of like a
There's
new
always coffee
Austin.
talk of a Linda Richman movie.
There's never coffee talk, movie talk, and I
Yeah.
would love that.
I would love that. And it would just, I would love it if it was
Just a
like,
talk show.
just an hour-long
Oh,
talk show.
they should do it like
Late Night with the
Late
Devil.
Night with the Devil. Yeah, so we see the full show and the ad breaks.
You're seeing a young man that he's being interviewed because he has spilkus in his Genecticazoink. And you go, the spilkus in the Genecticazoink is being possessed by the devil right now.
Late night coffee talk with the devil would
See,
be really
that's a
good.
pitch.
That's a pitch.
That's a pitch. Okay, we're sending it to the brothers to make right now. That is the good stuff.
Weekly.
Well, Cameron, your late fee has been paid.
Thank
so
you.
let us get into your combo. You're returning one false move.
I am.
And then, you know, it's up to you. What kind of combination would you like to pick up?
Should I decide now?
I would say you can decide now. You can get a combination of 4 movies.
Can I get all weeklies?
Of course. You can get all weeklies.
Yeah.
Yeah, all weeklies.
I wouldn't mind that because I'm in a bit of an old movie phase at the moment. I haven't watched too many new flicks of
Okay.
late.
All weeklies.
Yeah. And can they all be cool?
Yeah, they'll all be cool. They'll all be cool.
All right, great.
All right. I'm going to give you some extra recommendations today as well then.
Okay.
So we'll do... All right, you're going to pick one movie out, and I'll give you some recommendations. But let's start with your turn of One False Move by
Okay.
Carl Franklin.
Crime.
This was a movie I recommended to you last time you were here. This is, of course, from our crime film section.
Indeed.
And I remember giving this to you because you love a neo-noir film.
Yeah.
And I thought, in my opinion, this is the greatest 90s neo-noir film.
Well, for me, it would be The Matrix.
Yeah, of course, because he has noir tendencies. Neo's in it.
Yeah. So for me, that would be my favorite one.
Yeah, it's probably that and Johnny Mnemonic would be up there.
It's close. Yeah.
But and also you're a Bill Paxton fan.
I love the packs.
And in my opinion, this is his finest
Hour?
hour 45 minutes. I'll go the whole hour 45. He's amazing in this film.
I mean, if we really, he's not in the entire runtime of the movie. So if we really figure out how long he's in the movie, it's probably about 60
It might
minutes.
be about 60
Yeah.
minutes. But this movie is about a small town police chief who is concealing a bit of an secret, but it is
That's an interesting way to pitch this movie, man. Because, like, I mean, look, here it is. There's 2 copies. I had to watch both. I put them both on separate computers and watched them at the same time.
turns out exactly identical.
I haven't read the back cover of these. I also read nothing about it before I watched it. All I knew was your recommendation, and you said that I would like this based on my, previous
Your
taste in
proclivities.
movies.
Yeah.
My proclivities, of which we shall not name. But I wouldn't. My opening line, if I was pitching this to someone, would not be, "It's about a small town cop who may have a secret." Because I think I'd top load Billy Bob.
Yeah, wow.
I think I'd say it's about criminals on the run after committing a heinous crime, and they come up against a small town cop who may have a secret.
And of course, it's a Billy Bob written screenplay.
Yeah.
It's his first produced screenplay. And I think that's a nice way to frame it, because that opening where you've got these two horrifying killers, one played by Billy Bob Thornton, and also this character who becomes quite involved in the story throughout it as well, played by, God, who's the actress that plays that character?
Cinda Williams?
Yeah, Cinda Williams. Yeah, and I think that opening is one of the most horrifying, intense crime sequences, like murders I've ever seen in a film. And for that to be the starting point of the film, to then, by the end, it's one of the most heartbreaking.
It's quite sweet.
Really sweet, heartbreaking, but brutal heartbreak.
Can I tell you, I watched this movie on a plane.
This is one of the hardest movies to watch on a plane.
So that opening 10, 15 minutes or so, which is largely a horrible murder, a series of murders.
A series of murders that feel snuff-like in how hard they go.
I turned the brightness all the way down on my screen. At a certain point, I became so self-conscious that people behind me would be like, this guy's just straight up watching murder. This guy's watching
CCTV footage of a murder.
Crazy murder.
Yeah.
And I knew this was a Billy Bob script.
Yep.
And this is like early days Billy Bob being in cinema, really. It's 96, isn't it? Is it 90?
I think, 91.
92, right?
92, yeah.
92, and Sling Blade is 96. So that's his big breakthrough.
Yeah.
So this is like undiscovered Billy Bob, essentially. He's terrifying.
Yeah.
He is one of those actors that I think maybe for this stretch of time, from the 90s through to like, I'd say right after Sling Blade, so like 97, 98, he's a genuinely dangerous screen presence to the point where you don't know what he's going to do, like acting-wise as a choice. You also don't know, because this is a script of his, you have no idea how far this character is willing to go into the depths of depravity. It's scary. It's been a long time since I've watched a character on screen and like almost felt repelled, like I shouldn't even be looking at this guy.
It's a disturbing performance, and he looks horrifying.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, this is early days Billy Bob. But when you look at him now, he's been in Hollywood for a long time. He's handsome. Yeah. He's in great shape. He's got a wonderful head of plugs.
Oh, good on him as well.
Wonderful head full of plugs. His teeth look great. Like, he's been Hollywoodized.
He's been Hollywoodized. I would say this is the only other film or a performance of his, I should say, that is as disturbing as that Canadian radio show spot that he's on where he refuses to answer any questions. And he wants to talk about 1950s monster magazines.
That's horrifying. Yeah. But this is horrifying in a different way, because it's like unpolished. It's this is not, you don't feel like you're watching like a Hollywood actor who's knows his craft and knows how to move every muscle of his face and is in control. He feels out of control. Yeah. His eyes genuinely look like the eyes of an unhinged killer. Like they're shark eyes. There's no emotion in them. And he's got that fucking gross hair where it's like bald
skullet.
Bald and long.
Oh, it's so gross.
The Wayne Grow, I like to call it.
Totally Wayne
He's
Grow.
got Wayne Grow vibes.
He's Wayne grown it out, dude.
And Wayne Grow is another example of an actor, of a character that I'm going to call him an actor. The actor's name's Wayne Grow.
Wayne Grow came to life in that movie.
Wayne Grow was born out of Heat. And he's another one of those characters that when he's on screen, I'm like, I don't think we should be pointing the camera at this guy. This is too intense.
Wow. Can we talk about the Bill Paxton role? Because I'm saying it's his finest hour. Are you agreeing with me here?
It's tough, because here's what I love about Bill Paxton. He has way more range than Hollywood ever gave him credit for.
Absolutely, yes.
And no one really quite knew how to use him to the best of his ability. I think this movie uses everything I love about Bill, right? So early Bill, like when he's in Weird Science playing Chet, he is a dickhead. Yeah. He's like a sort of southerner dickhead, asshole bully. And he's funny. He's really funny in that. So I know from watching that movie as a kid that Bill Paxton has this comedic asshole side of his personality. Now, I also know from loving the movie Twister that he has leading man capabilities and that he can be the everyman, the straight man, the good-looking guy who's just steering the ship or steering the RV towards a twister.
Or sometimes he steers a ship in another blockbuster from the same era.
I don't know if he steers that ship, but he is definitely on the ship.
He's controlling a little doodad.
He's controlling that little submarine
He
thing,
controls that every now and
which
then.
sadly did implode.
Yeah, God.
A lot of people perished.
Unfortunately, we lost a lot of billionaires
We
that
lost
day.
a lot of billies down there. So he has both these sides of his personality. And then we saw in his later career in the movie that I never remember what it's called, but I'll call it Live, Die, Repeat.
Yes.
Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah, that's it. Edge of Tomorrow.
That he has like this kind of intense, almost Jim Carrey level comedic performance to him. And then there's the movie Two Guns, which I gave 2 stars.
Of course, famously, 2 stars to Sight Unseen for a little review that you did.
Where he has like slimeball energy. True Lies has that as well. This movie manages to push all of those elements of Bill Paxton together into a character that is the hero, but also the foil.
Yep.
He gets to be the tough guy that does all the brave stuff and shoot guns.
Do some movie star
Do
shit.
some movie star shit, but he also is the fool of the piece. And he's done some questionably slimy, sleazy, morally ambiguous stuff in his life that comes out through the course of the movie. I don't know if I'll say it's his finest hour because I still have a lot of love for like True Lies and Twister. But this, I think it's a top 3 performance and it uses all the elements of Bill.
And I think for me, what really strikes me about it is that when I think about like the great dumb performance of all time, like people playing below their intelligence level,
this is up there.
I would say this and Rocky are like the 2 greats.
Yeah, I'd put these up there. You know, if we got Sly Stallone as Rocky, Bill Paxton as this character, and we got the Coen brothers to direct them in a mid-90s movie about a couple of idiotic criminals or cops. That's too much, actually. That's almost too dumb.
And they meet Brad Pitt from Burn After Reading.
Burn After Reading Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
Totally.
I think that the way that he plays dumb in this is so beautiful. The best sequence in this film is the out-of-town city urban cops are like having lunch at some shithole diner or whatever, and they're talking about how dumb he is. They literally don't know he's behind them.
That's like a French bedroom fast type shit. Like the overheard, insult.
And it's like so could be played for laughs, but it's played for ultimate sorrow.
Heartbreak. Beautiful.
It's beautifully done, and there's a few moments like that. But to me, this is like one of the great neo-noir films. Great film about race in America at this point in time in the South and utilizing genre to speak to that. Carl Franklin, I think one of the most underrated filmmakers. He also did Devil in a Blue Dress,
I haven't
which
seen
I think is amazing.
I read up about him after I watched this movie. I haven't seen Devil in a Blue Dress. I know you love it.
Love it.
Is he still kicking? Is he doing stuff?
I actually don't know. I don't know what he's up to these days.
Get this guy
Get
on
him
the
on the
SNL
pod.
50th.
Get him on the pod, mate. Oh, I think he directed that Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. So he's still making stuff.
He's doing like TV.
He's
That's
doing
awesome.
some TV stuff. Yeah. So Cameron, you just watched One False Move.
Yeah.
Good recommendation?
I really loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It's sort of ugly and grimy in certain ways, but made me feel genuinely uncomfortable, in particularly with regards to the race stuff, because, like...
You finally admitted it today, so...
I finally admitted today that I am a white man.
This was the movie that made you admit it.
But not everyone's a good person in this. Like, we've got characters on both sides of the color lines that are pretty sinister, and then we have a hero who has some... He says the N-word a couple of times,
Like,
man.
he was raised racist.
Yeah,
like,
he's a racist guy, basically.
I truly don't think this... I don't know if... when I watch it again, I go, is this character racist? Or is he just built in that environment? And I go, I don't know if he has it for... Like this angry racism. It's like it is just racism that's there.
Because he's given the guy beers and stuff.
Yeah, it's true. But
he's making jokes that have have horrible language in it.
Like it's truly such like a bold like place to play with.
It's really a really cool, brave performance from Bill Paxton because not only is there that element, there's also the whole third act reveal with regards to a love affair that is, on the line as far as is this okay
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah.
Maybe it crosses the line.
Yeah, I definitely think it's in the noir world. It's crossed the line for
Yeah,
sure.
so it's pretty hardcore for him to agree to do it. I think it's great. I love Bill Paxton.
Yeah.
I miss him so much.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too. This one goes out to you, Bill.
And I also really love Billy Bob. I don't
Yeah.
think I give him enough flowers. I would like to give him some flowers.
Let's lay a wreath at his feet. Billy
Yeah.
Bob, this is for you.
It's for you, Billy Bob.
But I think that's a great point as well, that this is a screenplay by Billy Bob Thornton, a white filmmaker, and directed by Carl Franklin, a black filmmaker. And I think that this film is so in the pocket of understanding these two perspectives
Yeah.
in race relations in the South.
Yeah, totally.
Wow, I'm glad you dug this.
I really dug it. I really did. I really enjoyed it. It has a few elements that I really love to see in a movie. There's road trip element, criminals on the run element. There's also one of my favorite tropes ever, which is like big city cops are forced to team up with small town sheriff.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like such a good version of like In the Heat of the Night, this kind of
Yeah,
thing. Just a great elevation of it, updating it for the
It's
90s.
like reverse Beverly Hills Cop.
Absolutely. Now that is one of the favorite positions to be in. Reverse Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, I love it.
You don't want to know what you're doing with a banana in that sequence. Let's just say no exhaust pipe is safe. But let us get into, you got one weekly pick.
I've got a weekly pick.
You got one weekly pick. Then I'm going to provide you with some recommendations. But we're going from noir, neo-noir.
Yeah.
Dare I say one of the classics of noir cinema ever?
Listen, I don't know where we're going to land on categorizing this. I don't know where you'd put it in the, like, on what shelf you'd put it on in here.
Crime section.
Is it?
Oh, shit. You actually know what? I don't know. Wow.
I don't know either.
Maybe we got to start a classic section and
I
put
think
it in there.
you're just going to have to put it in classics.
You gotta put it in the
The film
classics.
is Sunset Boulevard.
By Billy Wilder.
Billy Wilder. From Billy Bob to Billy Wilder.
Oh my God, where are we going to go get next? Van Wilder?
Yes.
That's
Rise
what
of
we're getting.
Taj. That's my pick.
Oh my God. Wow. But Sunset Boulevard, this is
Yeah.
like one of the great Hollywood noirs, one of the masters of cinema, Billy Wilder.
Mm.
Hollywood set film about a screenplay writer that chances upon this dilapidated mansion that holds one of the goddesses of silent film,
Mm.
Gloria Swanson, one of the greatest performances in cinema.
Crime.
What made you pick up Sunset Boulevard from the shelves of the last video store today, my brother?
You lent me a graphic novel last year called, what's it
The
called?
Fade Out
The Fade Out.
by Ed Brubaker.
Brubaker.
Yeah.
And I really loved it. And it's kind of set in that golden age of Hollywood era. A noir,
Yeah.
believe it or not. And I loved it so much that I was just seeking out that feeling again everywhere I went. So I read a bunch of books that were in that vibe and, you know, some Chandlers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Chandler Bing, of course.
Of
is what I'm
course, my
talking
favorite
about.
crime writer,
Yeah.
Chandler Bing.
Chandler Bing.
Yeah,
The novelization of Friends.
Could this ending be any more ambiguous?
And then I went back and revisited some old classic noirs that I hadn't watched in a long time. One of them was Sunset Boulevard, and I kind of forgot how dense it is vibe-wise.
Yeah.
It's in my memory, it was strictly just a noir film, but it's not. It's more than that. It's funny as hell. It's a satire.
The satirical elements work so well to me. Like, even just the casting, you've got Gloria Swanson playing Norma Desmond,
Yeah.
incredible performance. But then you've got one of the masters of silent cinema, Erich von Stroheim,
Yeah.
playing her manservant butler, if you will.
That's one of my favorite details of the movie. So Gloria Swanson, and so this movie is 1950, I
Yeah,
think.
1950.
So she was a silent film star, 20 years earlier, essentially, and made a few pictures with Erich von Stroheim.
Yeah.
Is Eric or Erlich?
Eric.
Erich von Stroheim. One of them was a gigantic failure, a film called Queen Kelly, which they made together. It was a big vanity project,
Yeah.
cost a lot of money, made fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And she kind of buried his film career because the movie was such a flop. she threw him under the bus and
Mm-hmm.
was like, he was spending money out the wazoo, out of all of these wazoos.
Yeah.
All of our wazoos had money coming out of them.
And
It's
that's in the
crazy.
Great Depression. They're pinching their wazoos to keep the money in.
Pinching pennies, pinching wazoos. But there's money flying out of everyone's wazoos.
Mm-hmm. The wazoos are free flowing at this point in
I
this
mean,
film.
it's diuretic what's going on.
Yeah. So the
Let's
wazoo-
be honest.
Yeah, the wazoo's dirty.
Wazoos are really dirty.
cash flowing out of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then she buries his career. Yeah.
She's basically, almost ruins his career.
Probably ruins both. It ruins both of their careers.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah. So then the whole classic thing happens where silent movies go out of vogue. Talkies come in, which is what this podcast is technically a talkie.
Technically, yes.
And they hadn't really engaged with each other since then until this movie where she plays the failed former silent movie star. He plays a failed former silent movie director who has no more work and is forced to become her butler / lover at times. And there are scenes in the movie where they're in her big dilapidated Hollywood Hills mansion watching a scene from one of her classic movies, and that scene is from the movie Queen Kelly, the film that ruined both of their careers.
Yeah.
That alone is one of the juiciest and coolest pieces of information to ever be in a film. Like, that
Absolutely.
should lure you in.
Absolutely.
If you're a casual film fan, but you have vague interest in classics, that juicy bit of goss, that should get you watching this movie.
And it's not just that. Like, for me, watching this film as a teenager, spotting Buster Keaton in
Yeah.
like this poker sequence, I go, holy shit, it brings a sense of not even reality, but this world building from reality into the film.
It's crazy.
Just great satire.
And also, like, speaking to the satire of it all, you know, I watched this only a couple of weeks ago, and I was laughing so much. And I was thinking, I just can't believe this is from 1950. Like, they knew even back then that fame was this poisoned chalice that was worth making fun of.
Yeah.
Like, we see, like, satires of Hollywood now. They get, one comes out every year.
Yeah.
And it's always sort of about this. It's always
Yeah.
about, like, a former star who's chasing their glory, the thing that they had when they were younger, they want it again.
Yeah.
And they're willing to sacrifice all of their ethics and their morals in order to get
My
it.
gosh. Double feature with The Substance. Pretty good night out.
I was watching this movie. I thought if someone pitched this as an HBO dramedy
Yeah.
with like Catherine O'Hara as a
Oh my
former
gosh,
star
yeah.
and Skylar Gisondo
Yeah.
as her little screenwriter / gigolo.
Eugene Levy as a manservant. There we go. We got a movie.
That's like it would make sense that this would still be coming out.
Rob Reiner's coming in and going, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Reiner.
Because it's really funny. You know what I forgot about? The sort of opening moments of the movie where the main character, who's the actor's
William
name?
Holden.
William Holden's character stumbles upon this dilapidated mansion and meets Norma Desmond for the first time. And she's having a funeral for her pet chimp.
Yeah.
And this is like, what, 30 years before Michael Jackson has a pet chimp?
Yeah. But it just shows like how ingrained the odd eccentricity of Hollywood is.
Yeah.
Because it's not even eccentricity for them because it's like, oh no, we can do whatever we want. We've got
Yeah.
this lavish lifestyle.
Yeah.
But you see it as an outsider of Hollywood and just go, this is crazy.
And I guess that's why Billy Wilder could make this because he is an outsider. He's from Europe. He's Polish or something. I'm Scottish. He's Polish.
Yeah.
But
and I'm Greek.
he was able to come to America and move to LA in the 40s and look around and see that this is insanity. These
Yeah.
people are living like pharaohs or something.
Yeah.
Like they can have pet chimps and tigers flown in. There's people that were world famous superstars 20 years ago and now they're just kind of living in like
They
squalor.
live in cobwebs.
Yeah, it would have just been so bizarre to him. And I guess that's what this movie is. It's sort of like holding a mirror up to LA and saying, look how ridiculous you are. And that's what I love about it. And that's also partly what I love about LA because
Yeah.
it's gross.
Wow.
Soft pick.
Okay, beautifully put, Cameron. I think we've got to get to your recommendations. We've got quite a few.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you 3 recommendations. They are
Okay.
all in the noir/neo-noir genre.
Mm-hmm.
And because you landed on that LA choice and a Hollywood noir, I want to give you a movie that I think is incredibly underseen and terribly undervalued. This is also on your love of actors. Like, this is a movie with the most insane cast that's ever been assembled. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
It better
You might
not
have
be
heard
Rat
of it.
Race.
It's Rat Race. No. It is. This is a movie called Twilight from 1998, starring Paul Newman.
Crime.
It should be called Not That Twilight.
Different Twilight, if you will, but it's also got a
Whoa,
love
the
triangle.
hack man.
It's got a love triangle that rivals Twilight between Paul Newman, Susan Sarandon, and Gene Hackman. And this kind
Oh
of
my
feels
gosh.
like a legacy sequel or continuation of the Paul Newman Harper movies, the Dragging Paul and Harper.
Yeah.
So this is many, many years later. It's not directly, but you watch it and go, this feels like it.
So can I tell you, I'm reading the back. I'm only going to read the first line of this synopsis on the back.
Yes, read it.
A burned out private eye is plunged into a murder mystery tied to a long unsolved case of Hollywood dreams.
Yes.
Now, you had me a burned out private eye. That's kind of all I need to hear. I
And-
need a schlumpy, frumpy-ass motherfucker.
Played by one of the greatest aging stars in Hollywood's history.
Played by a guy that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, the older he gets, he somehow gets even hunkier.
Truly.
And
this-
I want him a little bit hungover. I want him at a desk. I want shabby chic
Oh
furniture
my God.
around him. I want scraps of newspaper.
There's a lot of that stuff because he becomes schlubbier. This movie also begins with him on a case and he gets shot and he thinks his dick gets shot off at the start of the movie. But let me read you the cast of this film. Paul Newman, Susan Sarandon, Gene Hackman, who plays, I think, an old school director. Susan Sarandon, like, he's his former starlet wife. Reese Witherspoon in one of her first roles. A police officer played by Stockard Channing, Giancarlo Esposito,
Oh my God.
Liev Schreiber, Margot Martindale, Emmett Walsh, James Garner, and maybe the cherry on top, the world's ugliest brother, Clint Howard.
That is a banger of a cast.
And let me just...
Giancarlo Esposito. Oh my
Everyone's in this, and you would love this. It's kind of
Stockard
got
Channing.
a bit of that LA vibe of a slightly more seriously pitched Fletch, I'd say.
Nice.
And directed by the great Robert Benton, who did Kramer vs. Kramer.
Wow.
He wrote Bonnie and Clyde. He also made a movie a year or so before this called Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman. That is his great Twilight years performance.
Wow.
But let me tell you this. Another reason I recommend it to you, you're one of the great fans of architecture, in particular ALA architecture. Not AI architecture. What is it?
I
the brutalist?
hate AI architecture.
He's actually the opposite of that.
Brady Corbet should be ashamed of himself for getting AI to make those blueprints.
But let me tell you the LA places that this is shot. It's shot at Los Angeles Police Department's Hollywood Division Station House in Hollywood, California. It's filmed at Mandalay Beach in California. For Raymond Hope's house, they chose George Jacobson House, designed by John Lautner in the Hollywood Hills. The Ames house was shot at Dolores Del Rio House in Santa Monica. The Ames Old Family Cabin was filmed at Arch Obler House, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright in Malibu, California. And there are so many like iconic LA houses. Like, it's an actual...
Mid-century LA architecture.
Truly, it's like a
the
great
best shit.
testament to LA architecture.
Hang on a tick. Your name is on the back of this.
Yeah, I did the auto commentary for that release as well. So watch it with me and Blake Howard in the background too.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, check it out.
Do you want to hear a weird tidbit?
Tid
a weird
my bit,
celebrity
brother?
tidbit? My dog doesn't watch it. You know, a lot of people's dogs watch TV and
Yeah.
people film it and they're like, oh, she's watching whatever.
She's watching Minions.
She's watching Minions again. My dog's really picky with what she
Mm-hmm.
watches. She won't sit and watch stuff.
Mm.
She'll mainly just get bored. But for some weird reason, anytime a movie with Gene Hackman is on,
What the heck?
she loves it.
Oh my God, you got to let her watch that episode of Diners, Drive-Ins and Dives, which is his last on-screen appearance.
Oh my God. I want to read his books.
Yeah.
Hackman is one of my favorite screen presences of all time.
And
One of my
he's
all-time favorite
fantastic
actors.
in this one.
So I'm excited for my dog to check this out, which is good.
And she'll be going crazy hearing my audio commentary
Like, she
doing it.
loved Night Moves so much.
Oh
She's
my
loved
God.
everything he's ever been in.
Wow, we got another neo-noir head here.
We put on the Birdcage the other day, and she sat in front and just watched him. She loves him.
Your next one. You got a next one? Do you want to go neo-noir or noir for the next one?
I want you to choose.
Okay, we're going to stay in neo-noir for now. This is a movie that's another straight up and down Cameron James.
Okay.
This is from 1981. It's a movie called Cutter's Way. Two of your favorite actors are in this movie as well.
Crime.
Let me give you the tagline first. Cutter does everything his way. Fighting, loving, working, tracking down a killer. So this is 81 neo-noir film that
Hell
stars Jeff Bridges.
Love the Bridges.
And in the performance of a lifetime, their finest hour and a half on screen, John Hurt.
That's cool.
From Home Alone,
That's-
Home Alone 2, After Hours.
That's a cool combination of people. I do love John Hurd.
Yeah.
Also, The Sopranos.
Of course, from
Yes.
The Sopranos. He plays a real loser in that.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Is it? Why didn't he have a bigger film career?
Don't know.
He's pretty great.
And when you watch this, you'll be even more surprised because
Yeah.
in this, Jeff Bridges is doing a bit more of a movie star thing, a bit more of like a laid-back gigolo type character.
So this is after Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
After Thunderbolt and Lightfoot,
Yeah.
and it is
So
directed
he'd
by...
won an Oscar or been nominated for an Oscar
I think
already.
so. Nominated
Yeah.
for an Oscar. Then you've got John Hurd doing one of those transformative performances in this. He's playing like an old Vietnam vet drunk with an eye patch on. And it's kind of that rich transformative performance that in this era was the stomping ground of Dustin Hoffman. And seeing him do this, I've never seen him like this. And you go, I can't believe that this guy has had this in him, and he's been forced into smaller character actor performances.
But
and
he's
comedy.
great. Like, let's not throw him under the bus entirely. He's great in Home Alone.
He's great
He
in Home
grounds the
Alone.
family.
And this
we
is
believe that they earned the money to afford that
he's
lifestyle.
absolutely guys because he was doing deals with the mafia and the Sopranos, work with
I
Tony.
believe so, yeah.
But let me tell you about this. Richard spots a man dumping a body and decides to expose the man he thinks is the culprit with his friend Alex Cutter. So Alex Cutter is like the supporting character, but it becomes Cutter's Way because it's all about Cutter's Way. And it has a great
Cool title.
emotional ending. Like this is not dissimilar to One False Move where you're kind of on the journey of like neo-noir that becomes deeply emotional. Like I think that this is straight up and down a winner for you.
Oh, man, I can't wait. That's so exciting.
And your final movie, we're going to France for this one. French
Whoa.
noir. Yes. French
Gay
noir.
Paris.
Gay Paris. And this is a film that I'm kind of sure you've heard of before because
Hmm.
it is somewhat iconic, mainly for its soundtrack. But
Is
I
it
think
Amélie?
it is Amélie, one of the great noirs. No. This is, I think, one of the greatest film scores of all time by the legendary jazz musician Miles Davis. And it is a movie called Elevator to the Gallows.
Crime.
The directorial
know if
debut
I
of
have.
Louis Malle.
I don't know if I've ever heard
Oh,
of this.
wow. This is, I don't know how else really to describe that, but it has the dark energy of American noir. This is from the 1950s. And it also has this simmering build to like that cresting dawn of French New Wave. Because Louis
Cool.
Malle's, his directorial debut,
Yeah.
it's kind of, you could almost classify it as New Wave, but it's just not quite there
So
yet.
it's a couple of years before that stuff.
Couple of
Yeah.
years before, but
Yeah.
you're feeling it. You're feeling something happening here. That's different.
No jump cuts, though, I assume.
No jump
Save
cuts.
that for fucking Breathless or whatever.
Absolutely. You're going to get in Breathless in a couple of years. Your kids are not ready for it just yet. But the other reason I want to recommend this to
That's
you is it features one of your favorite things in film. It's set all over one night.
Oh, One Crazy Night.
Yeah.
Love
A
that stuff.
self-assured businessman murders his employer, the husband of his mistress, which unintentionally provokes an ill-fated chain of events.
Love that stuff.
Just want to give you a little bit. I don't want to push too far into this
This is
one.
great. These are three great picks. and I haven't heard of any of them.
Wow.
So that's really, really cool, really exciting.
When you watch Elevated to the Gallows, immediately we go, I've heard this score before. Because
Okay,
it's
right.
just, it's almost more known as Miles Davis's music than the great debut of one of the great French filmmakers. But you would have heard the music before, because I would truly put this as the best film music ever.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah.
Even like better than Quincy Jones's Soul Bossa Nova from the Austin Powers franchise?
Well, that's actually first appears in a movie called The Pawnbroker, a Holocaust film from Sidney Lumet. And it's in a
Classic
sex scene.
Holocaust movie.
It's in a sex scene in that movie. And the first time I saw it come up in that, I went, that's crazy. That's the origin point of Austin Powers dancing music.
That is crazy.
But that's a recommend. I'll pop The Pawnbroker in there for you as well.
Yeah,
brother. You'll
chuck that
enjoy
in there.
it.
Just
One
the
of
sex
greats.
scene. If you could just clip out the sex scene.
Oh, yeah. I've got it up on my little Tube 8 account for you right now. But thank you very much for joining me here on the year anniversary of the show,
Oh my
Cameron.
God! Congratulations on the last year. How exciting!
Oh, wow, it's been one of the great years of my existence
Has
on
it been
podcasting.
your favorite year?
No, it's been more a good year,
Okay.
which is a reference to the Ridley Scott.
And
Russell
my
Crowe
favorite
movie.
year is a reference to that other movie starring.
I don't know, some French guy, I guess, probably.
No, it's Americans, all Americans.
Oh, my favorite year.
I watched it recently, and I
Let me
can't
look up
remember
my
who's in
favorite
it.
year.
It's the one that's based on the Sid Caesar show.
Oh God, my favorite TV show, the Sid Caesar Show. Wow, I've never even
Peter
heard
O'Toole.
of this.
Peter O'Toole.
Peter O'Toole and Joseph
It's about
Bologna.
a young comedy writer working on a live comedy sketch show.
Oh my God,
And he
how
has
have I
to-
never heard of this?
It's pretty good. It's like Get Him to the Greek, but set in the 50s.
Wow.
And he has to babysit Peter O'Toole, who's like a Errol Flynn style
Oh my God.
drunken pants man movie star who's doing a guest appearance on the set.
Oh
Sid
my
Caesar show.
God, I'm getting a recommendation on this podcast too.
And you know what?
Blaney Kazan's in it.
It's good. I
Wow.
recommend it.
Okay.
I found it really cute and really fun.
Well, hey, we all came away with something good today.
Hell yeah, we did.
Cameron, love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Thank you very much for saying so on the record here. I'm going to clip that out and make it my message tone. But also, your special, it's on Grouse House right now. Click on through in the show notes. It's there for you right now.
It's only about 36 minutes.
Wow.
It's called Cameron James Bangers. Lots of jokes, lots of songs, plus some acting. There is some sketch elements to this.
Oh, I was hoping it would be a dramatic monologue
yeah,
at
I
some
do.
point.
In the middle of the show, I do a dramatic element.
That's
dramatic
beautiful.
monologue.
Well, thank you for joining us, Cameron. We'll see you probably in 1 year or earlier than that. You're welcome to come back anytime you want,
Cool.
basically.
I might pop in and just use the bathrooms.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we've got a special section for that.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the bearded curtain area as well.
There's a dunny in there.
Yeah, there's a nutty in there.
The last video store.
Thank you for checking out the last video store with me, your host, Alexei Toliopoulos. Please subscribe, follow, share the podcast amongst your friends as well. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, Last Video Store Batuta. So check us out and share us in all of those places. And if you want your own bespoke customized recommendation from me, you can submit an online order at any of those places, in a comment, in a 5-star review, with your weeklies and your new release pick, and I will come to you like I did at the top of this episode and give you a recommendation based on your taste. So thank you very much. Love you, love movies.